start over in the left for my corner, which is Fluff's iPhone, which is actually a balsamo.
Yeah, my phone is called Fluff. Let's see, right now I'm working on, obviously, Cthulhu. We're at the end stages. Final proofread is going to be this week, so I recognize a lot of your names. I've been in communication with you. So after that, let's see, got another nonfiction ghost thing. You know, it's a paranormal investigator that writes books, and they're all real. And then I'm working on a book of oral histories of people from the small town that I live in, because a lot of them are getting very old and dying off. So I've started recording their oral histories. That won't be so much writing, other than me writing a small paragraph about who they are and why I chose them, and then everything will be verbatim, you know, as they told me their story. And then there should be a historical fiction coming through soon. I don't know. I can't think of anything else. It's been a really long day. So that's probably about it for the moment. Thanks.
All right, thanks, April. Mark? What's going on, Mark?
What's going on? So right now I'm working on a sort of nautical horror fantasy novella thing.
Nice.
Very early stages because I am a teacher and it's week 2, so I have not written anything in like a week. Other than that, I got a little short things that I'm working on, but nothing super noteworthy. And then I got a couple short stories coming out in the next few months, but that's the big thing right now.
The novels are definitely a big thing. Good to hear, and it sounds interesting.
Thanks.
Nautical horror, can't beat that.
Yeah.
David, what do you got going on?
Well, I apologize to everybody else. It's a fairly long list. So I just had released a couple months ago a mosaic novel that is a tie-in to Jack L. Chalker's Well World series called Permutations, out from Arc Manor. I also, in Cthulhu Land, I just had an anthology with a short story come out called Cthulhu Fakan, What If You Held a Convention Over a Hellmouth? And features a very famous author that anybody who knows him will be able to recognize immediately. Toby and I, who co-wrote the story that's in Cthulhu Dreams, have had a couple other Cthulhu stories published in the past, and we're working on another revolving around Josie Carter and Lovecraft's Silver Key. That will be our third story in that series. I signed a contract at Dragon Con to do a anthology of stories set in Larry Niven's Gil the Arm Hamilton series. And I am co-authoring a series of thrillers with a former FBI agent, Matt Hellman, of which one just released last week. Thrill Ride Magazine, issue number 11, Sidekicks, and a lot of other projects. I'll just leave it at that. I also teach and tutor, so congratulations to our teachers out there. We are doing God's work, as it were, because God knows the government isn't. And so as far as that goes, we are keeping ourselves pretty busy.
Sounds like it. Excellent. Also, Mark and David, if you guys want to drop in the chat a link to like a page where everyone could check out what your work, check out your stuff, you're welcome to, like your website, if you got that, or a link that gets you to all the stuff. Feel free, and anybody who's been listening, and if they want to, stalk you.
It says chat disabled. Let me see if. Okay, I got it. Okay.
All right, Darren, what's up?
All right. So happy to be here. I recently began working on an MFA in genre fiction through Western Colorado University. So I'm currently reading and writing a lot of romance, which is new for me, so it's very exciting. I do have a short story coming up in the anthology Win in the End, which is a benefit anthology for a member of the Superstars writing community. So I'm really excited to see that coming out in the next couple months or so.
I'm looking forward to joining you on the table of contents on that one, Taryn. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And again, any links you want to throw up there for like getting people to you? See what you're up to? Stalkers are always...
Yeah, it's not working. The chat's not working, just so you know.
Okay, let me check host tools and see. Allow participants to chat. Says it is. And
it lies to you.
It does. What it is it's set to host and co-host. So the only person you could chat with is me, which probably is less interesting than letting everyone else know. David, can you get in there now?
It looks to be working.
Here we go. Test. Excellent. Thank you. Brian, what's up?
Hey, so I started working on a Francis and Rory novel. I've been knocking around getting Francis and Rory short stories. You folks have published one, and I keep on sending you more. So I have a couple floating around. I have one that's going to be published that I'm waiting on in a tribute to Blue Oyster Cult. So that, yeah, that was unexpected. So I'm really excited about that. But the novel is going to be going all the way back to the beginning, so you get to meet Francis and Rory right at the beginning, and the shenanigans start right from the start. I'm really excited because I haven't gone this long and this far with them before, and it's full of dumb jokes and fisticuffs and magic, so it's working. Yeah, I'm also I'm on week 3 of going back to teaching. So, to my fellow teachers, much respect, my friends.
So did we just, basically all we do is publish teachers? Because this is interesting. But excellent, Brian, thank you, and I am looking forward to more of your stuff. Enjoy
Thank
it.
you, sir.
And Sarah, it has been a while since I've seen you. What are you up to?
Hi. I'm Sarah Jordan Hines. I edit the Behind the Shadows series. Book 3, Dark Secrets just came out. I also have stories in 4 inked anthologies. I'm a journalist by day, and my latest book is a true crime biography on Dorothy Kilgallen, who was a television personality, radio personality, journalist. Kind of has tie-ins to the Kennedy assassination, which is one of my big interests. So I continue to work on promoting that book. I also write some flash fiction. I was happy to have some of my short stories published this year, so I really am kind of at a point where I just need to write new material. I'm based in Iowa, and locally I got a grant to start a group for writers. It's called the Write Club, spelled like write as in writer, and it meets monthly in the area where I live, kind of in central Iowa, so I lead that, and it's been really rewarding to kind of give back, tell people what I've learned, those mistakes that not to make, the ups and downs of being a freelance writer and journalist. So I'm gearing up for the September meeting here in a few weeks.
Nice. Excellent.
Thanks.
Yeah, Sarah is one of the proponents for having these Zoom calls. I enjoy them as well. But she, we were just doing something, and she's like, "Are we doing a Zoom?" And I was like, "Okay, do a Zoom." So we've done 2 so far. All right, Tim, what's up?
Let's see. So currently, I'm writing my IAP with the Dear Teachers for my youngest son, because teachers are the absolute best. So doing that work with them. And then on the side, when I'm not doing that, I'm writing a joint venture start with Kevin. The working title right now is the 13th Scripture Cats. And so we're in beta release right now. Going to prepare before we release it to a potential publisher. So we got that going. Got a short story in work, 2 actually, for some upcoming anthologies. And then I have that Maggie novel that's sitting behind me, constantly tempting me and trying to find ways to procrastinate.
Excellent. Thanks, Tim. Miss Rosemary, what are you up to? What's the new news in your world?
You ask knowing damn well what it is yourself.
I'm putting this out, but
Kevin, Tim, and I are all part of the same writing critique group, so we know each other rather well at this point. I've been published under Ink's anthologies a few times. I've got 4 stories under you and 4 stories under the Jordan Con anthology. But I recently finally landed my first novel. Mocha Memoirs Press will be publishing my debut science fiction novel. Tentative release of fall of next year.
that's big news. Congratulations, Miss Rosemary. And we're gonna miss you.
I mean, you're not really gonna miss me because you're still gonna see me every week on Zoom.
Yeah, but I don't get to do Jordan Con and just that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm not doing Jordan Con this next year, but I'm gonna do my damnedest to go in 2027, particularly since my first book should be out by then, and Nicole usually has a table at Jordan Con, and so I can make myself useful.
There you go. All right. Well, let's hope that the overlords allow all that. Thanks, Rosemary. Samantha.
Hey y'all, I'm Samantha Bryant. I'm new to this group. The most recent Behind the Shadows was my first publication with Inked Publishing. What I've been up to lately, I just finished my Menopausal Superhero series. The last book came out in July. And so I'm super happy to have gotten to the end of what was a big era of my life. Took me 10 years to write the whole series, 5 novels, 2 novellas, and some shorts. So that's my big one.
Nice.
And I've got another horror short story coming out in October in an anthology from Whisper House Press called Dread Mondays, all about workplace horror. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Sounds fun.
And I'm doing my first all indie release on October 1st, which is going to be a collection of my stories called Stories from Shadow Hill. They're all stories that are set in a imaginary suburban neighborhood suspiciously like the one I live in. And then next after that, I'm working on some romances, my Gen X romances for spring. And I just got an exciting invitation. For the first time, I was invited as an anchor author to be in an anthology. So it's an upcoming anthology called Disruptive Intent, which is all about the good trouble I like to cause.
Yeah, I hear you have an interesting editor for that one, Sarah. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Toby? And do you want me to call you Toby, or?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. As David mentioned, he and I are working on a Josie Carter and the Silver Key short story together. We were previously published in Southern Fried Cthulhu and Monster Fight the OK Corral anthologies. Those were 2 short stories. Solo, I'm working on my first science fiction novel, and actually 1 chapter away from being done, so wish me luck.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good.
So that's what I'm up to.
That's a lot. It's good. Well, good seeing you. I'm getting to see some new faces among the faces that I recognize, and that's always good. Jake, what are you doing? What you got going on?
Hi, I'm Jake. I'm afraid I'm not a teacher. I'm in marketing, so I did teach in a past life though. So, but yeah. So I'm new here. I'm really excited, grateful to be a part of this. I've got a short story in the Beyond anthology, and that short story is part of a short story collection. So focusing on the short story collection is, I guess, the biggest task at hand for me at the moment. collection is called Ordinary Weirdness.
Nice. Sounds fun. Well, good having you, Jake. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go with Derek C. And if you would pronounce your last name for me so I don't butcher it.
Yep, it's Derek Cavagnano.
Cavagnano.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. I am new here as well. I have a short story called Flora in the Behind the Shadows 3. So excited about that coming out, and I am currently about maybe a third of the way through, or a little bit more of a folk horror novel. And so that's the main thing I've been working on, and then I'm also working with some producers on potentially, kind of early stage film development on one of my previous novels called The Art of Dying, but that's kind of just a wait and see as they shop around the script, and so I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that.
Good luck on it.
Thank you.
That sounds like an excellent opportunity.
Thanks.
Have you here? Miss Ann Hayward, I see a office. All right, I'm going to come back to Ann. Oh, there's Ann.
Sorry, had to step away for just a second there. Well, first of all, nice to be here. Nice to meet you all. And thanks for putting this together. It's just really fun to get together with other writers and editors and kind of exchange news about what we're doing. I had a story in the Behind the Shadows 2, and now have one coming out in Behind the Shadows 3. And actually, I'm going to be using that in a series of 4 talks that I'm doing with 2 other horror and suspense authors here in the Cleveland area. We're giving 4 separate talks at area libraries. So looking forward to talking about my story, Gehenna, which was in Behind the Shadows 3. And currently co-editing the Hellbound Highway anthology with Jane Nightshade for Hellbound Books. And I think that's going to be a really fun book when it comes out. The theme basically is about trips gone terribly, horribly wrong. So we've been getting some just great stuff, and I think it's going to be a really special book when it's all finished. So submissions just closed for that on the 31st, so Jane and I are kind of up to here with wading through submits and reading everything. But the quality of what we've been getting is just amazing. There's so much talent out there. It's phenomenal. And then I'm working on a nonfiction book. It's called The Thinking Woman's Guide to Horror Movies, and it's a discussion of horror movies from just kind of a personal perspective. I think they fall into certain broad themes that I kind of haven't seen discussed in a lot of other horror movie books. So hopefully people will have some fun with that. And of course, one of those themes is the trip from hell. It's amazing how many movies kind of fall into that category. And I'm hoping to get that out sometime next year. And then my first collection is coming out next May. From a new press that's forming this fall called Left Hand Path Publishing. And that'll be a collection of about 18 short stories, a couple of which will have appeared in ink publishing, which is great, and some other stuff that's been published elsewhere, plus some brand new material. And the title of the collection is going to be No One Heard Her Screams.
Pretty cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Ann. Holly?
Oh, I'm actually a reader. I'm here to observe.
So do you have any questions that you'd like to pose?
I do have. Well, yes. I wondered, first of all these readers are very eclectic. All these writers are very eclectic. And a lot of their writing seems to run along the horror vein. And I was wondering, is that what Paint focuses on, is horror and science fiction? Or is it everything?
Well, we've had an interesting selection books have. And I'm going to include the Hidden Villains as having some horror stories in them. But overall, we have Behind the Shadows and Non-Corporeal, which both go with horror and delve into a spooky atmosphere. And so,
I like them.
So with that, because of that, we've definitely pulled in a few. But we have, we're working on our second LGBTQ plus thing of Yay All Queer up in the top with there. And yay, we're doing Yay 2 coming out. And we're doing I don't know, for those of you who know October Santarelli, we're doing a benefit to help with that movement cost and all that. So we'll be doing that. If you have any interest, let me know. But we've gone, we have stuff that we don't even show on the table because it's like explicit romance. But we have mystery series, Hidden Villains. So we've done quite a broad view. I think you're just catching the wave here as we go. But yes, we do. When we do a Kickstarter, we can have a very large. I'll do the horror grouping, and we have a large number of books that go in that grouping. So yeah, we do tend to lean towards it, but I think it's possibly just because it's popular. You know?
Yes.
People like it. But thank you, Holly, for dropping by and joining us.
No, absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. All right. Derek, what's up?
Well, my weight for one. Sorry, I stepped on a scale and it was not happy with me today. Everybody else is so accomplished, and I always feel like the new kid on the block. I had a story come out in Midnight Tales a couple of months ago called Jellies, which is one of my few actual, because I tend to focus on literary horror. This is very much a B movie style horror thing with giant jellyfish on a beach. That's out in the most recent issue of Midnight Tales. I have a couple of sales that I've made. My story Lights is going to be in an anthology, and I'd rather not talk about that until I can make the official announcement. And the other is there seems to be a theme lately where I'm either doing sea stories or literary pastiches, but my story, It's Always Ourselves We Find in the Sea, will be in Chthonic Matter quarterly sometime in the summer of next year, which is basically Lenora Carrington meets China Mieville and a few other, really hyper weird sort of cosmic horror sort of entities. And then as far as what's on the horizon, what I'm working on right now, I am working on 3 different things, all novella length, if not longer. One is a Texas horror noir giallo called The Giallo Rose, which is about it's a road trip from hell, and so I am so sorry I missed that, but it got away from me, so that's what we're working on. The other is a novella called Revenant Night, which is about a town-wide festival that involves the dead, and the standard hilarity ensues with a bunch of that. Another is a science fiction novella called Below the Earth, Above the Sky, which takes elements of people like Jack Vance and a few other of the science fantasy masters and far future sorts of pieces. So we'll see where that goes. And then I'm trying to sell a story collection, and I recently received the rights back to my first novel, and I am currently shopping it around to see if I can get a reprint on that as well.
Good. Oh, that's a busy day.
I am shocked at this point that I am actually going, well, I like the writing part of this, but the business part of it, man, that's murder.
It is. Anyone who's posted will know. Excellent.
if it's murder, then we're just doing research, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I'm looking at it, definitely.
All right, Armand, how was your day? What are you up to?
Trying to unmute. I just got back from a week at BoucherCon in New Orleans, so I ate a lot of good seafood. The latest thing I have out is in horror is Stark Lake. It's a cosmic horror book set in Florida here, which lends itself perfectly to cosmic horror. And on the 13th, I have a zombie novella with 3 other novellas called Zombie Flesh Cult. It's extreme zombie. It's me, Lucas Milliron, Kenzie Jennings, and K-Trap Jones, and I'm doing North Florida. K-Trap does Tampa. Kenzie does the Orlando area, and Lucas is doing South Florida. And it's basically K-Trap said, "You want to write another zombie book?" And I said, "No, I've written all my zombie books." And he said, "Yeah, you're going to write this one." And I was like, "Fine." So that comes out in a few days. And I also had the third Beers and Fears book came out called Hoppy Halloween. And that's with Frank Edler, Chuck Buda, Tim Meyer, and J.C. Walsh. This is the third and final one because I'm done writing horror books. Although I have about 5 of them that are still waiting for publishers and stuff. So I mostly write crime fiction now. I mostly write crime thrillers. And so I've had, I think, 8 or 9 short stories and flash fiction pieces released in the last 3 months. I love flash fiction. I love punk noir. I think I've had the last 3 months they've accepted one of my flash fiction pieces. So it's a lot of fun, but I still have several horror books that will be out over the next couple of years. So that'll be that. And then in 8 days I go to NINC, the NINC conference in Tampa. So I'll be there for a week. So and hopefully that's all the travel that we're doing this year. I'm about done with all the conferences and everything else now.
All right. Well, thanks, Armand. All right, Jezza, what do you got going on?
Whoa. What don't I have going on? Hi, I'm Jezza. I'm new here. My first ink story is in Beyond, the archive that sings. What do I have going on? I have my anthology, When the World Breaks, which is a bunch of novellas, because I like earth-shattering things. So I gotta destroy everybody's hometown in some kind of, earthquake, flood, you name it. It's in that book. And I'm working on my third trilogy, because I kind of do explicit romance too. I'm a multi-genre author. And I got my kids book going on. Other than that, I might not be a teacher, but I'm a PTA president. Does that count? Other than that, that's all I got.
All right, well, drop some links. You're always surprised how much people love. Me and April own a bookstore, so it's always surprising just how much people, when I sell Impulse, which is our anthology we did, I can almost tell the readers because they like my covers, but they're not really interested in the story. And I'll be like, "What do you like to read?" And I'm like, ask them romance. They're like, "Yeah." And I'll be like, "Explicit romance?" And I'll pull up Impulse with a cover, and they're like, "Yes." So it's one of those things that people don't jump out there, but there's a lot of readership for it. So.
Oh, there is.
Oh yeah.
I think that's why I went that way. Mainly.
If you can write it, it's good. I've tried. Not quite. Rosemary and Tim have seen the attempts. Not pretty, but it worked. But I gave it. But anyway, thank you, Jen.
No problem.
Elizabeth?
Hi there. So I'm new to the inked publishing.
I've so far in my career sold short stories. This year I sold 3, and somehow they are all coming out in October. So I've got this one, which is a horror story. I'm in a collection called A Capital Mystery, which is all mysteries written by Ottawa, Canada authors and set in Ottawa, so it's a crime story. And then I've got another one coming out with a Canadian publisher, which is more of a sci-fi story. So that'll be coming out also this month. I'll put my website in the chat. It's only been up for a few weeks and I haven't really been promoting it, so if you do go there, you'll just have to be patient. In the meantime, I am working on a fantasy novel. I'm on maybe the 3rd or 4th draft. I took a course on editing a novel, so now I'm going through and putting in tentpole scenes. And since I'm primarily a short story writer, character arcs, not really something I've done a lot of, because, you know, all my writing's been under 5,000 words, so I'm trying to make my characters more interesting. And that's what's keeping me busy these days.
Well, short fiction is about an interesting character, because if you can't grab them right in the beginning with that, I mean, in a novel, you sort of got a little leeway to, you know, well, let me set the setting a little more. You can't go too far. People do try, and unless you're really good, it can do that. So having character pop out at you on a short story pretty much primes you for doing a novel, because if you can bring that out and get people interested in your character first on, they're probably going to read, you know, a few chapters, which is what you need. So good luck with it.
Thanks.
All right, Anne. Caught you when you were about mid-sip. I planned that one.
Hi, I'm AM or Ann. I'm very new here. Thank you guys for being so welcome. My story's going to be appearing in the new Cthulhu anthology that's coming out. Most of my time I'm an exotics veterinarian, but I do have about 6 short stories coming out over the course of the next few months, which I'm excited to be more into writing. But thank you, everyone here is so nice, so appreciate you having this.
So beyond the short stories you have coming out, what are you working on now? Just more short stories, or?
More short stories, and then a horror novel. I'm about halfway through. It'll probably take me like 5 more years, knowing how quickly I go.
All right, well, we'll try to have more of these Zoom calls so we can keep up with your progress.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anne. Jennifer?
Hey everybody, I'm new also. My pen name is Jen Janet, and I was first published in the Behind the Shadows 3. I hope, yeah, so my camera's trying to pick it up here, but yeah, I was just really, really happy to be included, so thank you very much. I actually just went yesterday to like a local author con that my writing group is having. It was in Vegas. It was at someone's house, so it was closed to the public unless you knew someone in the group, so it was on the smaller side, but I brought like 3 copies or 4 copies and they all sold, so some people in Vegas are going to read, you know, Behind the Shadows. That's really nice. And I pointed a lot of people to the ebook, so I think that's going to be really great. It's a really nice community that I'm in for the writing group here. In terms of news, I have a short story in a body horror anthology coming out on Halloween through Black Hair Press. So the anthology is called Occupying Bodies. Oh, thank you, Sarah, in the chat. Yeah, it's a small world too, because I forget, I think their name was Anne in the chat, but somebody mentioned that they are editing the Hellbound Highway anthology, and I submitted to that, so I just think it's funny, like it's such a small world, the writing community. So that was actually part of why I wanted to join this call, because I feel like it's just fun to, you know, meet different people, and I notice like some people are submitting to the same things that I am, and you know, it's just like a cool community thing. But yeah, that's coming out on Halloween, and then I am writing a novel, but it takes a very long time, so just plugging away at that. That's pretty much it.
Well, sounds good. Yeah, you will find a lot of crossover. There's an event called Superstars that a number of us had been to. Or, we do Dragon Con, and a different group of people go over there, and then we have a little local con, Jordan Con, Multiverse, things that we just sort of connect at, and it's a healthy, way to meet new people, gain opportunities, and, sometimes, it ends up with longer friendships. Me and Tim and Rosemary are connected through Jordan Con, where we have, a writing workshop stuff goes on there, so it's a great place for writers to go. And then we've dropped, off and did our own stuff. But it's very common that you find all these connections and everyone knows each other.
What Kevin's not telling you is that he runs the writer's workshop stuff at Jordan Con.
Well, I
Very nice.
run one side of, we have two writers' tracks there actually, and I do the workshop, which is about critiquing and pitching and all of those aspects, which I love because it's usually the people who really are looking to break in and do something with their career. They want to learn to write, they want to learn to sell, and they want to get out there, and I love that. That to me that's the reason I do the anthologies. It's not because anthologies is a hot market. Now, if all I did was explicit romance with Rosemary and Jezza, maybe we could make some money. But not everyone's going to get it. Rosemary was in the explicit. It was very interesting.
Yeah, it was the first time I ever wrote such thing. I wanted to see if I could do it. Apparently the answer was yes.
Yep. And her mom loves it.
I got to do it on a dare.
Honestly. So, what he's also not telling you is that our critique group meets weekly, and we read the selections we submit out loud at critique group. So I had to read that entire story out loud in chunks.
It's like a public speaking class.
Yeah, except sometimes it gets a little spicy.
Yeah, very spicy one. Nice.
In fairness, there's a lot to be said for actually learning not just basic craft if you're trying to write explicit romance, but also the business side of any kind of writing, because you learn that you need to have some kind of presence. You need to learn how to deal with interviews. You need to learn a certain degree of marketing, just because you need to be able to say, hey, I've written this. Can you, please read this. So I mean, the first two things I ever wrote, the first two pieces of fiction I ever wrote were erotic romances, and that they don't have a market, and I'm not marketing those anymore. But that was a really good learning experience for me about how to actually write fiction.
The next Zoom call we do, you guys are all going to have to read a couple snippets out of this stuff. Okay, I got names, I wrote them down, you're all on the hook. Let me I segue this out because Jen was talking about how we're all connected, and it's very true, and I love that. But let me jump over to Armand. I apologize, could you please pronounce Armand?
Oh, thank you. Arindam is fine.
Arindam. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what are you up to? And I mean, it's pretty late where you are, isn't it? Or is it?
No, it's early. It's 5:14 a.m. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I woke up this early. Yeah.
Thank you for making it.
So, yeah, you're welcome, and thank you for having me here.
So, what do you have going on?
Oh, okay. So, I have been writing short stories for the last 4 to 5 years. So far I have written 17 short stories, and all of whom comprises my first collection. And recently I have started querying it to agents, so that's what I've been doing. And also I just finished my debut novel, so also trying to get it published somehow. And yeah, so that's about it. I write day and night. I'm a full-time writer. I don't do any job or anything, and all I want to do is become a full, professional writer. And become one of those top dogs. So that's what I've been trying. Yeah. I'm also applying to fellowships and residencies, mainly to US, so hopefully I will get to some of them. I know it's very hard, but been trying anyway.
Well, good.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to thank, my dream is just to become that, full-time writer, so that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years since I picked up the pen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now it's just about making money on it, right?
Yeah, right, yeah. And I'm getting some publications recently, so huge thanks to the Indian Publishing for this. It's like a dream coming true. I've been trying to get something published here for a long time, so,
Well, we appreciate it, believe me. I love reading
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. And everybody seems so amazing here, so I'm glad to be surrounded by also these talented people. So thank you for this opportunity. Really, thank you.
And you're amazing too.
Thank you.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
we'll probably do these every couple months.
Oh yeah. And excuse my English, by the way. I'm super nervous, and I'm still trying my best to fix the accent. So, bear with me.
It's perfectly fine. I can understand everything, so I'm fine.
Thank you.
All right. So we've had a number of Marys as authors, but I'm guessing that the Mary here might just be a guest. And if you have any questions, you're welcome, Mary, if you'd like to ask any questions. They're not required. I just want to make sure everyone gets an opportunity. All right. So, Holly, do you have any more questions? Because you've now heard everyone speak. Do you have a question for someone in particular you'd like to ask, or you're just happy listening?
I'm happy listening, but I wanted to say that I am a reader and I have read Armand's work, actually. And I was here to show my support in that and also to meet the other writers and meet publishing. So this is all very exciting.
Excellent. Thank you for your support. We appreciate that. You have no idea how much, as writers, we really do appreciate support, because it's like what we live for is to have people recognize and read, and then the support they give is, there's no price on it. So thank you for coming up.
I'd like to I promoted it in the chat, and I just want to mention it to you guys since we're all Cthulhian, Lovecraftian writers. If you've never been to Necronomicon in Providence, Rhode Island, I highly recommend it. It's an every 2-year con, so you won't find it every year like it was in 2025, but it is in 2026. It's an amazing convention with a lot of Lovecraftian readers and fans. There's a lot going on. Huge support for writers and a dealer's room with a lot of great publishers and authors. And I went to it 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and I'm planning to go this next year. I'm going to haul Toby with me if I can, and some other friends of mine are going as well, but I just cannot not recommend it highly enough. It is just so much fun, and sales were really good for me and my little weird Western. I sold out of that. And so, yeah, I will definitely have this anthology with me and the other ones that Toby and I are in, others to sell there. So, highly recommend it.
Toby, I'm sorry, David, when is that next year? When and where is that going to be?
Well, it's Providence, Rhode Island, and as for the date, I believe it's August. Let me just double check on that. Talk amongst yourselves. Let me give you a topic.
I apologize. I didn't mean to slow down.
No, that's okay.
So one of the things InkPub does is we sponsor a convention called Multiverse in Atlanta, explicitly because it is a diverse and inclusive convention. Everyone is welcome and promoted to be there. There is all the normal geeky little tracks. There's a writing track. I think one usually about 400 or 500 people. We're used to a convention that's about 1,000 people, and of course, there's all the, Dragon Con and such. But this is, so it's a nice little group that you get to meet over the weekend, and, and the most safest as far as like a queer community or other such, because if you have a problem with someone, something, you're the problem. And I love the promoters for doing that.
I'm going to second Multiverse. I was a guest there a couple of years ago, and it's fantastic. I absolutely love being there, and I feel terrible that I have not been able to make it the last couple of years. So
I went a couple of years back, and I'll third it. It was a really great experience. My only complaint about it is that it's in Atlanta, which means you have to go through Atlanta to get to it.
It's now in Peachtree City, which is the south side of Atlanta, which can make it worse if you're coming from the north side. If you're coming from the south side like me, it is now much easier to get to because I don't have to drive through Atlanta. And Peachtree City is a golf cart city. It's the weirdest thing.
So I got the date. It looks like it is August 13th through the 16th.
And that is Necronomicon, just so there's no confusion.
Yeah, Necronomicon, August 13th through the 16th in Providence, Rhode Island. I mean, so many cool things. Like the opening ceremony happens at the First Baptist Church, which is not the First Baptist Church as in it's named the First Baptist Church. It's actually the First Baptist Church in America. Like there's plaques and things. And they
David, stop drilling. You've hit oil, and I will do my best to do that instead of what I was going to do next year.
Yeah, no, and they tell all sorts of stories about Lovecraft as a child, and yeah, it's a wonderful experience. Cannot recommend it highly enough.
Okay, so I want to take a moment and just see if anyone here has a question for someone specific. You've heard other people talk maybe about an anthology that they work on, or that they, how do they get into editing anthologies? How do they? All right, Tim's got his hand up. Go ahead, Tim.
So my question is for Sarah. You were talking about your work that you're doing with the Kennedy assassination. So I was wondering how the release of the new data has benefited, changed everything. How has that impacted you, right?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. Hi. So my book came out in late 2023. So, anything past that isn't included, but for people who maybe don't know, Dorothy Kilgallen was a researcher of the assassination, certainly was a journalist with the Hearst papers, and, in my research feeling like she was kind of put under surveillance and followed and, was murdered. So that's kind of what I lead up to, and because it was so important to her work as a journalist, I kind of have a good part of the book that goes through kind of that day in Dallas and different eyewitnesses and just, different declassified things. So, anything past that date would just not be included in the book. But I feel like it's pretty comprehensive. I know a lot of people have all their kind of different theories and interests there, but I'm just kind of trying to follow sort of Dorothy's path of investigating what was in her columns and research and just kind of piece it together from